Greetings, kindred friend. Let us be still together in this moment and visualize a scene we all experience every night. When the lights are off, the warmth of the blanket envelops you, and the physical world begins to fade away. This is an invisible threshold, a fragile state between waking and sleeping, where your mind stands at the border of complete rest. Yet, why is it that even when the room is perfectly silent, you still feel a lingering tension within? Why is it that despite lying still, you wake up the next morning with a body as heavy as if you had just completed a grueling journey? The answer lies in a biological paradox that few realize. The body lies down, but the nervous system remains standing. When the nervous system remains in a defensive posture, it is like a sentry who has not yet received a ceasefire order. It locks all doors, leading to deep cellular recovery. You sleep, but you haven't truly let go. In today's video, I want to share with you how ancient monks stepped through this threshold, not through effort, but through understanding. You will discover a 3-minute ritual to send the ultimate safety signal to every cell, so that the moment you release control, your body will automatically activate the miraculous healing mechanism it already knows so well. Join me as we begin the journey to return primal peace to your own sleep. Redefining healing. We often enter the journey of recovery with a mindset full of pressure, viewing our bodies as broken machines in need of repair. We search for every way to make ourselves healthy, to make ourselves sleep better, as if health were a goal to be conquered through effort. But dear friend, according to the wisdom of the Buddha, this body is not an inanimate object waiting to be patched up. It inherently possesses an incredibly miraculous instinctive wisdom. Your body does not need you to teach it how to mend a wound or regenerate a cell. It has known how to do so perfectly since your very first breath. The real barrier separating you from deep recovery is not a lack of effort, but rather the excessive interference of the mind. When you lie down but still silently worry about aches or constantly check to see if you are relaxed yet, you are unintentionally placing your nervous system in a state of high alert. You must understand a biological and spiritual truth. Healing does not happen under surveillance. The process of regeneration requires absolute trust in nature, where the control of the ego must completely withdraw. Your body does not need further direction or motivation from the will. What it truly craves right now is a space of silence, unviolated by anxiety. When your mind stops playing the role of supervisor, self-wisdom finally has the opportunity to operate. Therefore, instead of asking, "How do I heal?" try asking yourself a more liberating question. Can I stop holding on to control at this very moment? Minute 1. The biological code of safety. Right now, as you are lying in bed, gently place one hand on your lower abdomen. This action is not merely a physical touch, but a way for you to establish a bridge of connection, signaling to your body that you are present here, fully and with deep care. At this moment, please do not rush to correct or force your breath into any pattern. Let it rise and fall naturally like small waves touching the shore. Simply observe silently. Is the breath shallow or deep, fast or slow? Acknowledge it with tolerance and stillness. And then, very smoothly, as you begin to breathe out, actively prolong that exhale, a bit slower, deeper, and gentler than the inhalation. Imagine you are discharging all the burdens of today from your chest through that breath. Why does this tiny gesture have the power to change your entire biological state? Modern science has discovered the presence of the vagus nerve, the main highway signaling the central nervous system about safety. When you prolong your exhalation, you are directly activating the parasympathetic nervous system, much like pressing a stop alarm button for the entire system. Remember this biological code. A longer exhale tells the body there is nothing to fight. In that very moment, a safety signal is sent throughout your cells. Your heart rate will automatically slow down. Muscle fibers tensed in the shoulders and jaw for so long suddenly release, and the flow of energy begins to shift from a state of defense to a state of regeneration. You do not need to use willpower to convince your body to be at peace. You only need to borrow the exhalation to give it physical evidence of reality. Danger has receded, and this is a sacred time reserved specifically for healing. Minute 1. The biological code of safety. Right now, as you're lying in bed, gently place one hand on your lower abdomen. This action is not merely a physical touch, but a way for you to establish a bridge of connection, signaling to your body that you are present here, fully and with deep care. At this moment, please do not rush to correct or force your breath into any pattern. Let it rise and fall naturally like small waves touching the shore. Simply observe silently. Is the breath shallow or deep, fast or slow? Acknowledge it with tolerance and stillness. And then, very smoothly, as you begin to breathe out, actively prolong that exhale, a bit slower, deeper, and gentler than the inhalation. Imagine you are discharging all the burdens of today from your chest through that breath. Why does this tiny gesture have the power to change your entire biological state? Modern science has discovered the presence of the vagus nerve, the main highway signaling the central nervous system about safety. When you prolong your exhalation, you are directly activating the parasympathetic nervous system, much like pressing a stop alarm button for the entire system. Remember this biological code. A longer exhale tells the body there is nothing to fight. In that very moment, a safety signal is sent throughout your cells. Your heart rate will automatically slow down. Muscle fibers tensed in the shoulders and jaw for so long suddenly release, and the flow of energy begins to shift from a state of defense to a state of regeneration. You do not need to use willpower to convince your body to be at peace. You only need to borrow the exhalation to give it physical evidence of reality. Danger has receded, and this is a sacred time reserved specifically for healing. Minute 3. Absolute letting go. Doing nothing. In the final minute of this ritual, allow yourself to be completely absent. Do not try to prolong the breath anymore. Let the lungs breathe according to their own rhythm, the way a flower blooms without anyone's help. Do not try to search for any feeling of relaxation, tingling, or a flow of energy running through the body. And most importantly, do not lie there waiting for sleep or healing to arrive. There is a subtle paradox we often fall into. We turn relaxation into a goal to be achieved. But in this moment, you must understand that expectation is a form of tension. When you lie there waiting for a result, your mind is still working, still standing guard to check if you have reached your goal. That silent waiting is the final thread holding your nervous system back in a state of wakefulness. Tonight, try for once to trust completely in the operation of the universe within you. Withdraw the role of the practitioner so that only a pure presence remains. No need to fix yesterday, no need to prepare for tomorrow, and no need to strive to sleep right now. When all craving stops, the mind has no point to cling to, like a drop of water dissolving into the ocean. Let your consciousness melt into the soothing darkness of the long night. It is precisely in the state of doing nothing, without purpose or expectation, that your body truly reaches the deepest layer of peace, where the most miraculous recovery begins to take place, naturally and fully. The invisible detail, the art of sacred renunciation. Dear friend, behind the physical gestures of breathing and relaxation we have just performed, there exists an invisible but decisive detail. This detail will elevate your 3-minute ritual from an ordinary relaxation exercise into a deep practice of wisdom, touching the core of peace that practitioners call sacred renunciation. There is a truth about the mind that few notice. Our brains never truly rest if they believe there are still loops that haven't been closed. You may be lying still, but if in your heart you are still struggling to resolve an argument, brooding over an expense, or worrying about your children's future, then for the nervous system, the work session has not yet ended. Bear this truth in mind. As long as something remains mentally unfinished, the body cannot fully rest. In the Buddhist tradition, Zen masters practice an art called temporary renunciation. When they enter their hut to rest, they do not carry any status or responsibility with them. They leave the abbot, the teacher, or the provider outside the wooden door. Tonight, I invite you to perform a similar internal act. Right now, whisper to your own heart a sacred command. For the next few hours, I have nothing to resolve. Feel the immediate relief as this statement echoes within you. This is not an act of escaping reality or laziness. This is a wise biological surrender. You are sending an ultimate signal to the nervous system. All battles have temporarily ceased. Weapons are down. Borders are safe. Our nervous system is very simple. It cannot distinguish between a wild beast and a to-do list. Both activate an alarm state. Only when you declare the finished nature of all problems in your mind does the nervous system truly withdraw from defense mode to open the door for the deepest recovery. Repeating this affirmation every night is not just empty words. It is how you are imprinting a new habit of safety onto every cell. Over time, your mind will understand that the bed is a sanctuary of non-action, a place where every identity of a worried mother, a diligent employee, or someone facing adversity must vanish. When you dare to renounce the world for a few hours, you are granting your body the greatest power, the right to rest as a pure life, unburdened and traceless. It is in that decisive renunciation that a miracle of rebirth will begin to blossom in the darkness of the long night. Accepting the disappearance into deep sleep. Dear friend, many of us fall into an unconscious habit that psychological science calls sleep monitoring. We lie there, eyes closed, but the mind still silently opens a third eye to observe itself. We ask, am I asleep yet? Why am I still awake? Or even try to sleep the right way, according to instructions we've heard. But you must realize that the very effort to witness your own sleep is what drives sleep furthest away. The nature of deep sleep is not an exercise you can excel at, nor is it a state you can stand outside of to observe. Listen and understand this liberating truth. Deep sleep is not a state you observe. It is a state you disappear into. In daytime life, the existence of the controlling ego is necessary for you to work and care for loved ones. But to be healed at night, that ego must bravely withdraw completely. Deep sleep is an absolute surrender, where you allow your identity, will, and even your wakefulness to melt into the void. Do not fear this unconsciousness. Trust that when you disappear, your body is truly free. When you are no longer there to steer, to monitor, or to worry, the great wisdom of nature will take over the entire system on your behalf. Tonight, when you feel sleepiness beginning to arrive like a hazy wave, please do not try to grasp it, nor try to check how far it has come. Simply let go of every final clinging point, including the notion of, I am sleeping. Allow yourself to dissolve, to disappear, and to be enveloped by the soothing darkness of the long night. It is in the moment you dare to no longer be anyone that you will find the most powerful recovery that your body and soul have always craved. Healing is a climate, not an event. When you wake up tomorrow morning, I invite you to practice an entirely fresh attitude. Stop measuring your sleep. Do not rush to check electronic devices to see how many hours you slept, and do not be quick to label last night as a good sleep or a bad sleep. When you rush to evaluate the result, you are unintentionally bringing the nervous system back to a state of analysis and control the very thing we worked so hard to let go of throughout the long night. Bear in mind a truth that practitioners always understand. Healing is not an event. It is a climate. Visualize healing as tending to a meditative garden. You cannot command a seed to sprout at exactly 8:30 a.m., nor can you pull on a branch to make it grow taller faster. All you can do is create a favorable climate, safe soil, peaceful water, and the stillness of time. When the internal climate is warm and trusting enough, recovery will automatically occur according to its own rhythm without the need for any coercion. Your body is a biological system of great wisdom. Each night, depending on the most urgent needs that only it knows, the body prioritizes repairing a different layer. Some nights, it focuses on regenerating muscle, but other nights, it commits all resources to purging toxic emotions or mending secret heartaches. Sometimes, waking up with a bit of fatigue or lethargy does not mean the ritual failed. It could be a sign that your body just completed a profound overhaul at a cellular level that you were completely unaware of. Tonight and tomorrow morning, please do not play the role of a harsh judge toward your own body. Your task is only to persistently water it with peace and trust. Do not plant a tree and then dig up the roots every day to see if they have grown. Just let yourself be enveloped in the climate of non-judgment, and time will do the rest of the miraculous work. That silent persistence will be worthily rewarded with a robust physique and a fresh soul when the seed of health truly matures. Dear friend, this 3-minute ritual is not about adding a new task to your busy life. It is about learning to shed the habit of holding on to tension. When you stop interfering and relax your hands, you are returning to the body its greatest power, the right to self-recover. If this video brought you a moment of peaceful silence, please help me spread this energy with a like and a subscribe. That is how we together light lamps of mindfulness in the darkness. And right now, before drifting into dreams, I invite you to leave a comment below with the affirmation, "I let go and allow my body to heal." Consider this a silent commitment, a final safety command that leads you into the land of regenerative sleep. Wishing you a long night of peace and a morning awakening in the light of complete tranquility.